Hi, my name is Amy Mozzie and I'm with Centurion Boats, and today I'm going to walk you through the all-new 2024 Centurion Ri265, and this is a Warrior Edition. Let's go check it out. You can see the Ri265 coming from a mile away, and not just because it's 26.5 feet long and yacht certified, but because of these docking lights. These docking lights are 4,800 lumens a side. They light up the water in front of you. Heck, they're so bright, they light up your future. All new for 2024 on the entire Ri series is the new vented windshield from Centurion. Not only does this windshield have an amazing shape, a really chiseled look that goes along with the body lines of the boat, it's vented. And you can close it when you're cold, you can open it when you're hot. It gets some air on the driver and the passenger in the observer seat, and it keeps you as cool as you look in the Ri265. We've got to stop and talk about ram fill on the Ri265. The ram fill tanks in this boat, 2,900 pounds. They fill in 90 seconds. And the vent looks really cool. This year, we allow you to choose a color, one of 18 different color options for this particular vent, as well as the model designator vents and the other fresh air vents on the boat. So you can custom color all of those vents, as well as custom color all of the gel coat colors on the outside of this boat. This is going to be your ride. I mentioned earlier that this particular 265 is a Warrior Edition. This is a new package for 2024. You'll know a Warrior Edition because the base gel coat on the hull can be a different color than the deck base. So this allows this boat to look completely different, even at first glance. And oh, there's another piece of this 34 option package that's kind of distinct. You may see it over my left shoulder here. This is the Predator Power Tower. This is part of the Warrior Edition package as well, all new for 2024. It raises and lowers with a 9-foot rigid bimini that stays parallel to the floor, which means even when it's at its lowest point, you can still drive, have all your passengers comfortably shaded on the interior. This tower is definitely going to eat the competition's lunch, and it'll allow you to eat lunch shaded. When we're talking about custom colors on the Ri265, we've got to mention that this is a Warrior gel coat scheme. What that means is you can have a hull base that is dissimilar from the deck base color. In this particular situation, we have a black hull base and a tan deck base. The other customizable color option we have here is the Centurion Lit Badge. This particular badge surround can actually be colored 18 different colors. Yes, you heard it here. It's black. I could have made it tan, or 16 other choices. I know, we're still going on the 2024 Ri265. This is a big boat. There's a lot to cover, literally. And so what we've got here is the dual gas fills. These gas fills may not seem like a big deal until you have a tow vehicle that fills the opposite side, and you've got to go through the fuel station 2 different directions. That doesn't work. So we've got a fuel fill on each side. So no matter what side your tow vehicle fills on, we've got you covered. We also have an option this year that's new. It's a bumper cleat option. What it allows you to do is plug a bumper with a little line that's branded with Centurion right here quickly when you're coming up to a dock. And it has a really specific storage center that comes with it that's under the seats where those cleats plug right in, or the bumpers plug right in, so you always know where they are. They're never rolling around in the storage area lost when you start to get ready to dock. You've always got quick access to them. They plug in and you are safe. No gel coat worries on the dock, thank goodness. We've also got a really cool designator towards the back here and a pull-out cleat that you can use to tie to the dock. This boat just keeps going and going. So one of the things I really want to mention towards the back of the 265 is what most people know about this boat, that it creates an amazing wake surf wave. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how that happens. That's because of the hull design. This hull is called an Opti-V hull. It is a modified deep V, which is very unique in the towboat industry. Traditionally, towboats have a flat bottom, not Centurions, and specifically the 265 has a very deep V. That is to displace more water with less weight. But typically, a deep V tends to be sensitive for side-to-side weight shift it gets tippy. So we've created a hull design that balances it out or optimizes it. And you find that really here at the back corner on either side of the 265. There's a flat triangle that extends from this corner forward towards the bow of the boat, and it allows the boat to have lift and balanced lift. What that gives you is a symmetrical wakeboard wake as well as a symmetrical surf wave that forms very easily, very quickly. It's all because of that hull design. The Opti-V is amazing. As we move around to the transom of the Ri265, you start to realize there's a lot going on behind this boat. There's a reason for that. First of all, our QuickSurf Pro system is mounted on either corner of the Ri265. It's available on any of Centurion's boats, but on this particular boat, it takes the displacement created by 5,850 pounds of available ballast and makes it into a surf wave. And it does it with the press of a button. It's so easy. How it works is the plate goes down opposite the surf side. It creates lift. Then the surf corner displaces more water. That's what creates that curl. And it's normally a pretty big one, really long because the running surface of this boat is 26.5 feet. So you're way back there, but surfing. We talked about how much was going on under the swim step of the Ri265. Proof. There's a bunch down here, but it's a lot new. So the Silent Stinger isn't new for 2024, but it is now standard on all RIs, including the 265. What's important about the Silent Stinger is that word silent. It is otherwise kind of a trim tab. And what it does is it changes the running attitude of the boat. What that means is when the tab goes down, it makes the bow of the boat go down. When the tab is up, it makes the bow of the boat come up. This helps you level the running attitude of the boat. Why would you want to do this? It can help shape your waves and wakes differently. It can also help you on a really rough day on the water get the most aggressive part of the V cutting through the chop. It also helps you see the water in front of you by getting the bow down so you don't have as much bow rise. The other interesting things about underneath the swim step on this particular Ri265 is the new underwater light. 10,000 lumens, and it is available with RGBW control, so you can color it if you want. Yes, you heard it here, you can color it. So when you're switching your wave from side to side in 1.8 seconds on the QuickSurf system, you can say, oh, I'd like to have a red colored light on. You can be that specific. And you'll be able to hear the rider, even if you're the driver of the boat, because this boat is so quiet, thanks to the Silent Stinger. The Silent Stinger has a series of baffles built into it. What that allows it to do is tumble the exhaust from the engine and water that's forced into the bottom of the plate together to dampen the noise of the engine. And it is whisper quiet. As I step up onto the swim step of the Ri265, you start to understand just how tall this boat is. It's a long way down there. But the boat itself on the back here is just made for hanging out. And it's also made for storage. You know, I have a lot of people ask me when I'm at a boat show, what can I put on top of that optional ballast bag that's in the trunk of the Ri265? Almost anything. I mean, short of a razor blade, it is made of a Zodiac material, so it's extremely strong, so I can store stuff back there. Now, when you're ready to ride and you're gonna fill it up to surf or to wakeboard, you probably wanna get some of that stuff off of it because it does fill all the way up, so it might get caught in this trunk area. But once I have my stuff put away, then I can hang out. I can jump back here, I can flip up these rear lean backs, I can hang out, I've got cup holders and a nice place to sit. It's definitely a comfy boat. I can even plug in an optional table right here and we can chill with drinks and snacks and watch the kids swim. This boat does way more than just surf, wakeboard, and have a great rough water ride. It's also really nice to hang out on. So even though you're only hanging out in these seats when you're floating to swim or stationary in the boat, it's still a really comfortable place to be. And I've got a room for really a couple people on each side, and we can easily all fit. We've got some cup holders. I've got stereo controls here. I've got everything I need to hang out. And when we're ready to go, we're ready to go. As I step down into the Ri265, I can really tell just how big this is. This boat, like I said earlier, it's yacht certified, and there's definitely room for a lot of people. You can bring anybody and everybody from the dock with you in this boat, but it's comfortable. When you've got people in this boat, they don't have to sit right on top of one another in order to fit, and they're going to be comfortable along the way. These seats come high on your back, so they're very supportive. And at the same time, they look really cool. This is made with spradling vinyl, and it has a 17 mil top coat. What does that mean to you? It looks really neat. It has a sheen to it that's really nice looking, but it's also very protective, and it gives the boat's interior longevity. It allows you to guard against staining, things like acid rain. It's protected against UV rays, and it's not going to hold a stain very long, so I can wipe it off. The other thing that's unique about this vinyl is the texture. So this is an all hex design in this particular boat. Again, this is a Warrior edition, and this is part of that package. But having this hex grain texture allows the heat to dissipate faster from this vinyl. So that means a darker colored vinyl is not going to be as hot as a flat vinyl without this texture, even same color. It's also held together with a very strong thread made by a company called Gore-Tex. May sound familiar to you? It's Gore-Tex. So Gore-Tex makes this thread, again, that resists staining, it resists harsh chemicals, it doesn't break down over time. And we put a lot of stitching in this interior. Not only do we stitch the pieces of vinyl together multiple times, especially in high stress areas, like on the edge of the seat bolster. This is called a French seam. And we stitch this 3 times, so it is not pulling apart. This is going to last even when people are stepping down from the walkover down onto the seat. They don't have to, because there's a nice fiberglass piece here that's gator stepped that can accommodate lots of feet. But if you step onto your interior, you're still going to be okay because of that stitching. We've also added some new stitching in the Ri series in general this year. This is a Warrior edition that we're in, so we have the topo stitch in these accent areas all through the interior of the boat. And you can color this stitching 7 different colors, so you can make it match your interior exactly the way you want to. So this interior is comfortable, it's custom, and it's going to last forever. We talk about comfort and convenience on the inside of a Centurion, and there is no more comfort and accommodation than in an Ri265. That's really evident in the side panel. Not only do you have 4 cup holders, easily accessible by anybody sitting along this side of the lounge, but I also have my available RGBW lighting colored in pink and red. I thought I would go with this combination for this particular segment. Why? I don't know. But it looks really cool. And if you opt for the control, which is standard as a part of the Warrior edition, you can make these interior lighting colors anything you want. But the other thing that's really cool about the side panel and standard for this year in all Ri Centurions is the lay flat charger. You can have a lay flat charger standard in an Ri, and there'll be one on each side of the lounge, and it takes the place of a cup holder, so you do lose 1 cup holder right here, but I can lay my phone down charging it, and it's in a safe place. There's also another lay flat charger, wireless charger in the glove box. So I've got 3 standard in an Ri for 2024. I really love that, because now not only do I have the individual power points, I can also use these chargers, or my passengers can, at any given time. Again, the Ri265 is yacht certified. So that means we can have a boatload of people in here. And what comes with a boatload of people? All of their stuff, a boatload of stuff. Well, the Ri265 has storage everywhere, and it's concealed and easy to get to at the same time. It's shocked and hinged storage, so I can lift this seat. I don't have to have any hands other than to start it on its way up, and then I can put all of my gear inside. The Ris also come standard with a storage mat. So You've got a nice cushy woven mat that's on the inside here that really keeps stuff from sliding all around in these big storage areas. But I have easy access to put everything away and out of sight, out of mind. I'm not tripping over it. It's pretty convenient. Now I know I'm kind of far away, but I've got to show you the non-skid flooring that is in the Ri265, especially the Warrior Edition. This is the Warrior package floor, which you can get in any Centurion. However, this one has a twist. Because this is a Warrior Edition Ri, there is a topo pattern that's similar to the stitching you see in the seats cut into this gator step as well. So you can choose between this Warrior pattern or the Salute to Servers pattern to have in the RIs with the Warrior Edition package. This is a very cushy floor to stand on, very nice and comfortable because it has 3 layers, and each of the 3 layers has 15 different color choices per layer. And this design is unique to the Warrior cut. Like I said, you can opt for the Salute to Service cut, and that's more of a flag, stars and stripes type of design, but you can make this floor look any way you want. After all, it's a Centurion. Because there are so many places to sit in an Ri265, you really need to be able to make that seating versatile and allow people to make their choice, even if it is only the driver wanting to position passenger weight differently. That's when we come to the 5-position slide seat that's in the Ri265 standard. This seat can be almost anywhere along this whole interior lounge. It's right now in probably its 3rd position, and it still has 2 more to go. I can push it all the way up towards the cockpit where you could have the rear-facing lean backs that you can get with it plugged in and facing forward, so you make a little lounge up front. Or I can plug those same lean backs into the other side, and we can have rear-facing seats so we can see the rider in tow. And we've got a table that's available as well. It's standard as a part of the Warrior package. You can plug that table in any one of 4 receptacles on this slide seat and slide the table along with the seat itself. It's made to be versatile and make the boat the way you and your family want to use it and make it easy. The observer seat in the Ri265 is as big as the rest of the boat. It's very comfortable, super accommodating. It also has this neat little storage area right in front of it that's great for shoes or stuff you want out of the way but you still want to be able to keep track of. You've also got a flip-up lean back in this seat right in front of it, so I can have another rear-facing seat very quickly if I would like. I'll show you how it goes up. It's just like that. So it's as easy as that. I've got a rear lean back. I can put it away when I'm done using it and turns back into a lounge seat. It's extremely functional, and if I wanted, I can even tuck my feet in behind so I'm a little more comfortable in the observer seat as well. We don't typically focus a ton on the glove box area, but there's a lot going on here for 2024, especially in the Ri265. So the glove box in and of itself is super cool. Lit, Centurion logo, nice billet door. It's beautiful, but voila. We also have a lot going on underneath this lid. So a couple things. Standard for this year on Centurion for 2024, there is a new stereo. It's called the Backbone Eco stereo system by Wet Sounds. It is standard. The main face plate is in the glove box, so it's easily accessible. It's got a volume knob. You can do all your settings. You can Bluetooth from here. So the passenger could Bluetooth their phone to the stereo. Be careful with that because you may not realize it's happening, but it can. You also have 2 power points. You have a USB-C power point as well as a regular USB power point, and you have access to add other media to the sound system, to the stereo system via the glove box. But the pièce de résistance, the best part of the glove box is going to be the new battery management system. So this is something very new to the towboat industry in general. Typically, you have an isolator switch that's mounted beneath the observer seat lean back. And Normally, you have to dig through all the gear you've shoved in there because that's the largest single storage area in the boat in order to turn the batteries on or off or turn it from 1 to 2 batteries. And they call it an isolator switch, but it isn't truly. It doesn't truly isolate the house battery or the battery that powers your lights, your stereo, that type of thing from the engine cranking battery. But this new battery management system from Centurion does. And it's really easy. You have a house battery control, and it is on right now because we have our lights on in the boat. You can also turn it off by sliding this little door up, and I can turn it off from here. You also have an engine battery. The engine battery is what cranks the engine. That's what gives the engine enough power to start up. So if we wanted to isolate these two batteries, I would put this middle switch to auto. What that would do is that would completely separate the house from the engine battery until one of those batteries gets below 9 volts in power. Then the system is smart enough to realize, hey, I need to steal a little bit of power from the other battery to get the voltage up on the one that's low. It gives you the option to really be sure that you're going to have enough battery power either to power your lights and your music when you're hanging out in a cove, or when you're ready to go back to the dock, you've got enough power to start the engine and head home. The Predator Power Tower is all new for 2024, and it is a piece of the overall Warrior package that you'll see in this Ri265. What you can't miss on the Predator Power Tower is this 9-foot bimini. This thing is huge. It is actually a rigid frame. So this bimini doesn't fold up, it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't need to. It's got a stretch canvas on it that goes on kind of like a boat cover. Very easy to put on, but the great thing is you don't have to take it off. You can tow it on a trailer with it up. You can go, 40 miles an hour on the lake with it up. You can tow a rider with it up. You can trailer with it up. It is going to stay in this position no matter what, even when the tower is folded down. When we talk about the RI Series Warrior Edition package, one of the items that you can get on the Predator Power Tower is the Warrior 2.0 sound system. This is a sound system created by Wet Sounds, and it has 6 speakers in the tower. You have 2 10-inch horns firing backwards, firing towards the rider. Then I have another 8-inch speaker that's firing down that you may not be able to see from your vantage point. But it is an amazing sound system. The cool thing is it creates separation between the sound firing back to the rider and the sound firing down into the interior. It allows you to separate those zones so I don't have to blow everybody out on the interior to get the sound back to my surfer. Plus, it's pretty cool looking. With the available RGBW lighting control, you can light these tower speakers up any color you want, just about, and they look really cool when you do it. There aren't many options on the Predator Power Tower or as a part of the Warrior Edition package. You pretty much get everything. However, there is one, this clamping surf rack. It's available as a pair, one on either side of the tower. It can be colored as many as 18 different colors, but it's made for one single surfboard. And what it does is it gives you a perpendicular angle for your board so the sun is not beating on it all day long. And those of us that have those expensive custom-made boards, we want to keep them safe in their sock and as much as we can out of the sun. We talk a lot about the Predator Power Tower this year because it's an amazing piece of equipment. It's an amazing system available on the RI series from Centurion. One of the things that makes it amazing is how it works and what benefit it gives to you. Essentially what it does is it allows the bimini, which is 9 feet long, to go up and down with the tower parallel to the floor. So we can all sit underneath it when it's down. It's very comfortable even for the driver. But what you want to keep track of is where you're at in that fold process. And this little cheat sign lets you know at what point in the process this tower is at. Right now it's fully up, so we can see that. As we lower the tower down, we're going to encroach on these little hash marks here, and we'll understand once the tower gets up to here that it's all the way down again. So it gives you an indication of where it's at. But how does it work? It works with a series of linear actuators. There's 4 of them on this tower, 2 on each side. There's one here in this base. which is a permanent mold casted base. There's one here in this top corner piece, and they work together. They're smart, so they talk to each other. They let each other know exactly where they're at in their motion, so it's smooth and it's even. The tower doesn't get bound up. It goes down in about 17 seconds, up in about 20, as long as you have your finger depressing the button near the right side of the driver constantly. It's very, very easy to use, but it's also very strong. In fact, it's probably strongest in its collapsed state, in its most low state. And that's because of this base and that top piece I mentioned earlier, where the linear actuators are mounted. These are permanent mold casted bases. A lot of times cast parts are made from a sand cast, which allows for some imperfections in the finish, and that's how you might notice a sand casted part, but it also decreases the strength of that part. It makes it, in most cases, less precision, less precise. They use permanent mold casted parts in things like engines, for generators, or for a turbine, because these parts have to be extremely precise. We use them because they look really nice, and the finish of this casted part doesn't look any different from any other piece of finished metal on this boat. That's one of the things that I really appreciate about the Predator Power Tower. It looks almost as good as it functions. Those of you who are familiar with the Ri265 from Centurion love this rear-facing lean back. It is amazingly functional. It allows you to face backwards and comfortably and watch the rider in tow. But it has a lot more to it than that. This year, in fact, it's got a stitching accent, which is really cool, and you can see it here. Now, since this is a Warrior Edition package boat, the stitching accent is what we call topo stitch, and it's kind of like a topography map stitched into the seat itself. It's got a bit of an aggressive feel to it, and we really dig it. There's also an RI series stitch pattern that will come in an RI that is not a Warrior Edition, and you'll be able to see that stitch here as well. But this enclosure also has another magic trick. It contains a trash can. Why is that important? Why do I don't have to get somebody up to throw away a piece of trash? No, I've got a trash chute right on top. I've got a couple cup holders here for the convenience and maybe for this passenger who's facing the rider. This has a lot more to do with comfort than it does with looks, but it has both. We talked about how big the Ri265 is. It is 26.5 feet long. It is yacht certified, which means you've basically got a seat for a person, you can put them in this boat. And this particular boat is so big that you can have to, yell for the person across the boat, hey, how's it going back there? But you also find yourself with a lot of people always wanting to go with you. A lot of people always have a lot of stuff, and they tend to make a lot of trash. So we've thought of a solution. Instead of just one trash chute in the Ri265, we have two. We've added one in the walkthrough. So you can throw trash away to a trash can that is inside the OB and in a little mounting spot. When you don't want it, it doesn't have to be there. But if you want another space to throw away that nasty, dirty trash, you've got it. So one of the things I love about the RI series is that you get this Cobra racing seat standard. What does that mean to you? Well, a lot of times for me, I love to swivel the seat around, especially when we're just hanging out, so I can talk to everybody here in the lounge. And when you're just hanging out, I'm not driving, I don't really have to pay attention to the water in front of me. It's nice because I can still be involved in this conversation. Now, if I'm driving, and let's say I'm pulling a rider, I don't really have the option to fully swivel. Not typically anyway. So what I'll do, and why I love the Cobra racing seat, is I'll throw a leg over and check back, check my rider, check my mirror. I'll make sure everything's good and then probably be back this way. That's a lot faster move for me, but it's also kind of comfortable. So when we're pulling a surfer, a lot of times I'll sit this way the whole time so I can look from the front of the boat to the back of the boat in my mirror and make sure everybody's being safe and having fun. So once I'm fully in the driver's seat, this is my house. I wrote the book on this seat right here. This is my place, and I have the control, which is really important to me. But it's really easy to have if you're driving an Ri265. From this seat, I have two huge Revo touchscreens, which allow me pretty much control over almost every system of the boat. And one of the controls that I always have at ready is quick launch. So quick launch, when I touch on that here, it puts my plates on the back. We looked at the quick surf plate earlier, both sides, and we looked at the silent stinger tab. So my quick launch will put all of those tabs all the way down so I can take off with no bow rise. It's really cool. I never lose sight of the horizon. I never have to worry about not being able to see the water in front of me. And it's a utility that I use constantly when I'm out on the water. I also have quick access to my quick surf. So I can touch my quick surf, turn my surf system on, and toggle between surf left and surf right. And it's really easy to do. The change, or the transition, as people call it, is about a 1.8 second transition. That means the wave will form on the opposite side in less than 2 seconds. It's that fast. But I can control all of that here. I can select a user profile. Right now it's set to go home. I could choose surf left, surf right, pro surf left, pro surf right, or I could add, I think, another 32 different customized profiles. So I can customize this boat setup exactly how I want it. It has 5,850 pounds of ballast in it, and I can tell this boat exactly where I want that weight placed. But because those ballast areas are pretty evenly distributed through the boat, this boat rides very level, even when you're weighted to ride. You've got easy access to all of that. And then I've got my ballast. I can always understand at what level I am in each area from this screen. I can get a really detailed view if I want that tells me exactly how to fill, how to drain, and to do it in each area. Very, very easy to do. Or I can fill all and drain all. And if I have ram fill, all I have to do is throttle up, and I can go as much as 15 miles an hour and fill that ram fill in 90 seconds. And in this 265, that is 2,900 pounds of water and displacement that's making that wave behind the boat. One of my favorite things in this particular boat, and new for 2024, is the lighting. We now offer RGBW lighting, so I can customize the colors of my lights in my boat. And this is so much fun. As a part of the Warrior Edition package, I can opt for these RGBW lights, and I can change all of them just like that. So now we've got red lighting going on in the Ri265. That's one of my favorite things, new things for this year. Another thing that's standard on the Ri series for this year is our new Rove system. And it is a camera system. We call it range of view, Rove. And it's got a camera on the bow and a camera at the transom, but it also gives you information about your fuel economy, your fuel usage, trip data. So it does 3 different things. It can show you your trip data, meaning how many hours have I been running the boat, how much fuel have I used, what's the distance that I've gone. It tells you all of that information, so you can gauge how much longer you can be on the water and not have to cut a day short to go back and fill up. You can also see your cameras. You can see the bow camera, which right now is pointed at the backdrop, so it doesn't show us much. Or we can see the rear camera, which shows us everybody with us in the studio today. Hi guys. We've got both views. And if I wanted to see both, if I wanted to see my trip data on top of our photo crew, I could do that as well. So we've got all of this information, or a range of view of all of this information for the entire boat right here at our fingertips in this screen. When I said this thing controls everything about the boat, that's what I meant. We talked about another level of control in the Ri265. One of the ways that I love to control this boat is with these sport shifters. And you would think, oh, that's just for fun. No, these are so convenient. What this does, the shifters on my left side will control the position of my Silent Stinger wake plate. So if I pull this lever close to me, with a couple fingers, it will raise my wake plate. In other words, it'll put my bow up. If I pull the bottom one towards me, it will lower my wake plate and it will put my bow down. So bow up, bow down. I never have to lose sight of the water in front of me or the horizon because I don't have to take my eyes and transfer them to those paddle shifters. I can control my set speed, my zero off cruise control speed with the other set of shifters on the right-hand side. And again, I can increment my speed by pulling up on the top, and I can decrement my speed by pulling towards me on the bottom paddle. So it's really easy to do. I always can feel them, even with my hands on the steering wheel, so I never have to pay visual attention to them. I can always keep my attention on the water in front of me. The other nice thing I have quick access to is my phone here. With this standard clamping wireless charging cell phone holder, I've always got quick access to my phone. So I can always see an alert, I could see a text, I could see a heat warning that flashes up, and I can also have control of my stereo through this via Bluetooth. Speaking of stereos, I've got another stereo control on my right-hand side here. This is standard on all RIs for 2024, and this is the remote that goes with the Backbone ecosystem from Wet Sounds. This particular remote controls anything and everything about that particular system, but its main feature is this knob. This is the volume knob. And I know this seems really old school, and maybe it is because I am, but this volume knob makes life so much easier. When I'm coming back to pick up a fallen rider and I want to make sure I can hear how they're doing, they can respond to whatever questions I'm asking them, I want to be able to turn my stereo down quickly. There's no better way than this volume knob. And it's right here, it's easy to access. I can have my chat with them and then pick them up because they're perfectly fine and they're loving the day and we're on our way surfing again. It's so easy to do. And I can Bluetooth my phone very easily to this system through the Revo screen. So I don't have to go to that face that we saw earlier in the glove box. I don't have to Bluetooth through that device. I can Bluetooth through the screen here. It's very easy to do. I can select my phone from an available list of phones and boom, my tunes are playing and I'm in control once again, even of the stereo. So the way you know that the Centurion Ri265 is really a walk-through open bow is just like that. I can walk right through. I don't have to turn sideways or shimmy through to get to the bow of the boat. This boat is as wide as it is deep and long. It is a big boat, and it's got plenty of accommodation, including up here in the bow. In fact, the bow is one of the places I really appreciate about the Ri265 because we've got plenty of room. We can sit down in the bow. I feel safe. If I have a little one sitting next to me and they're sitting down on their bottoms like they should be, I feel safe that they're in the bow and I'm not worried. And as a mom, that's pretty important. The other thing I have quick access to are drink holders, also important as a mom, and PowerPoints for my phone, stereo speakers to hear all the tunes that are cranking, even in the back of the boat. And I've got some handles to grab onto in case my husband decides to do a bat turn. This boat does handle really well. But probably my favorite thing about the bow is that it's a smooth ride. This is a deep V. It's a modified deep V, but it is an extremely great rough water ride. I don't feel the shock of the water, even when we're going back over our own rollers. That's why the bow is definitely a desirable place to sit, and it is a smooth ride, no matter what the water conditions. Part of what makes this bow in this Warrior Edition Ri265 so comfortable is the armrest. This flip down armrest is so awesome. It comes standard as a part of the Warrior package, but it is optional on other RIs, and you got to check that box. This thing is one you've got to have. I mean, you've already got this amazing rough water ride up in the bow, all these other accommodations. Throw in the armrest. I hope you've enjoyed the walkthrough of the all-new 2024 Ri265 Warrior Edition. This boat is as big on features and performance as it is in physical size. But don't take my word for it. Go to your local Centurion Boats dealer and let them prove it to you today.
Watch out, here it comes. We can have a little fun, like a thief out on the run, going fast and out.